naman ng ating awarding ay Inspiring a Nation of Heroes. Tell us more about the theme that you chose.
Well, these are very trying times for our country. No, we've suffered from a lot of natural calamities, and of course, in the south there has been some conflict. This theme right now is very appropriate because the country needs to look at youth who have done more than their share and are experts in whatever they've done, and they should be emulated by youth. Then it gives the Filipinos a source of hope, and that there are young people like this who continue to make a difference.
Ito pong ganitong klaseng award ay sabi nyo nga 55 years nyo na ibinibigay sa mga outstanding young men and women. Why is there a need to recognize the achievements of these outstanding Filipinos?
Also, Junior Chamber International has its vision, to provide development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change. And we see that these are the typical, or I mean the classic, the best examples of the men and women who are living our JCI creed. Yeah.
Okay, maraming salamat po, sir. At gaya nga po ng ating nabanggit kanina ay mahigit 5 dekada na o 55 years nang kinikilala ang mga Pilipino na nagbibigay ng mahalagang kontribusyon sa kani-kanilang henerasyon. Sa pangunguna po ng Junior Chamber International o JCI Philippines ay pinasimulan nila ang The Outstanding Young Men Awards noong April 6, 1959. Noong pong una, ito lamang ay chapter project ng inilunsad ng Manila JCs, ngunit nang makita ng pamunuan ng JCI Philippines ang hangarin ng proyekto, ito po ay inilunsad na on a national basis noong October 15, 1959 sa kanilang convention noon sa Baguio City. Noong 1973 naman po ay ang Jerry Rojas ay sinuportahan ng naturang proyekto dahil sa pagkakatulad nila sa layuning i-promote ang leadership at exemplar innovation sa mga kabataan para sa ikauunlad ng ating bayan. Noong 1996 po ay nabago ang pangalan ng nasabing parangal. Mula sa The Outstanding Young Men, binago ito pansamantala ng mga namumuno bilang The Outstanding Filipinos. At ito nga po ay para kilalanin at bigyan ng pantay na pagkilala ang mga kababaihan na napapabilang po sa hanay ng mga pinaparangalan. Ngunit naging malaking bahagi na nga ang mga kababaihan sa pagbibigay ng parangal na ito. Sa katunayan po ngayong taon, dun po sa 9 na awardees ay 2 po sa kanila ay mga babae. Noong 1999, binalik muli ang nasabing parangal sa orihinal na pangalan nito na The Outstanding Young Men para panatilihin ang sanctity nito at originality. At ngayon na rin po sa pamunuan nila ay hindi nais ng TOYM na magkaroon ng gender differences sa pagbibigay kilala po sa Pilipino. Samantala, siyam nga po ang nabanggit kong mga awardees na paparangalan ngayong hapon dito sa Palasyo ng Malacañang at isa po sa kanila ay ating nakausap kanina. Siya po ay si Ginoong Emerson Atanasio. Siya po ay isang awardee para sa larangan ng social entrepreneurship. Panoorin po natin ang ating naging panayam. Mr. Atanasio, can you give us a brief background kung ano po yung trabahong inyong ginagawa at bakit po kayo nagbigyan ng award para sa pagiging outstanding nyo sa larangan ng social entrepreneurship?
Actually, I'm into education, but we're doing our program parang in partnership with the industry and the LGUs, with different LGUs. So we're trying to connect the classroom to the industry as well as to the community. So what we're doing there is 3 months nag-aaral sa amin yung bata. Then we deploy them after 3 months sa company partners namin for 1 year. Self-help program po siya. So I think it was recognized by the Search Committee yung efforts namin sa pagtulong sa mga out-of-school youths, especially sa mga out-of-school youths, at the same time to our fellow Filipinos. Right now, we have about 18,000 sa programa po ng dual training system under TESDA po. And it's a ladderized program. And we're one of the K-12, kasama po tayo sa K-12 program. At the same time, we're doing it in partnership with our local government.
And congratulations nga po sa inyo dahil isa kayo sa mga napili. Salang-sala po itong selection process ng TOYM. Ano po ang reaksyon nyo dahil isa nga po kayo sa siyam na awardee ngayong taon na ito?
It's really overwhelming. No? Alam naman natin how tedious yung screening process. And I'm just the warm body noong program po namin. So I want to share it back to our family as well as to our institution.
And inspiring a nation of heroes ang theme ngayong taon. How can you inspire your fellow Filipinos to be heroes just like you?
Well, we can end poverty through quality education. I hope kailangan magkaroon tayo ng bandwagon, no, na magtulong-tulong tayo pagandahin yung education system natin for us to really end poverty in our country.
Maraming salamat po and once again, congratulations to you. Yan po ang ating naging panayam sa isa po sa mga awardee ngayong hapon dito sa Palasyo Malacañang, si Ginoong Emerson Atanasio, awardee for social entrepreneurship. Isa po siya sa siyam na mabibigyan ng pagkilala ng The Outstanding Young Men of the Philippines o TOYM. At gaya nga po ng aking nabanggit kanina, sa paglipas po ng mga taon, ang TOYM ay nagsilbi bilang isa ng institusyon sa patuloy nilang pagkilala sa mga natatanging individual o di kaya grupo na ay nakagawa sila ng reputasyon na tumatak na sa isipan nating mga Pilipino. At ang TOYM po ay nagbibigay parangal sa mga batang Pilipino edad 18 40 years old na hindi nag-aatubili o nagdadalawang isip na makiambag hindi lamang po para sa ikauunlad ng kanilang mga sarili kundi maging ng kanilang kapwa at ng bansang Pilipinas. Para po sa ating kaalaman, narito ang mga layunin o objectives ng TOYM para sa kanilang taunang awarding ceremony. Una, to recognize the outstanding achievements of our nation's youth which have benefited the community and the nation significantly. Ikalawa, to focus public attention and confer national recognition to these young men and women based on these outstanding achievements and contributions. Ikatlo, to inspire others, especially the Filipino youth, with the recognition of these achievements and leadership of the TOYM awardees who have demonstrated vigor and enterprise in tackling the problems of society and offering solutions to these problems. And to live the JC Creed and consider it a good measure of performance by the awardees. Yan po ang mga objectives ng The Outstanding o ng JCI sa kanilang pagbigay kilala dito sa tanging men and women na paparangalan po ngayong hapon dito sa Palasyo ng Malacañang. At syempre, hindi kung sino-sino lang ang nakakapasok po sa nasabing parangal. Napaka-rigorous at salang-sala po itong mga napipili para bigyan ng awards. Dumadaan po sila sa masusing pagsusuri at para mabilang sila sa mga outstanding young men. At narito po ang ilan sa mga criteria sa kanilang na nagiging basehan po ng pagpili ng mga awardees. The nominee is judged by his outstanding leadership and excellence in his contribution to the cause of humanity. The nominee must have been engaged in his or her field of endeavor for a substantial part of his life. And siyempre po, kinakailangan ang awardee ay isang Pilipino mula edad 18 hanggang 4 na po, gaya nga po na aking nabanggit. At dagdag pa dito ay hinuhusgahan ang mga nominado base sa 3 kategorya. Ito po ay ang serbisyo sa komunidad at buong bansa na katumbas po ng 40 points. Personal excellence and integrity in the field of endeavor, nakatumbas din po ng 40 points. At ang panghuli ay ang kanyang leadership at kasama na po ang moral rectitude, innovativeness, and pioneering spirit na may 20 points. At inaantabayanan po natin ang pagdating ng Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III dito po sa Palasyo ng Malacañang para pangunahan ang awarding ceremony ngayong taon. Nandito na po ang siyam na mga bibigyan ng pagkilala na bilang the Outstanding Young Men of the Philippines at gaya nga po ng naging pag-explain sa atin ng isa sa mga miyembro ng search committee. Bagamat the Outstanding Young Men ang kanilang titulo ay marami rin po sa mga nakaraang taon na mga kababaihan ang kinilala na at nabigyan ng mga award dito sa TOYM at ngayon taon nga po ay 2 sa mga awardees ay mga babae at 7 po ay mga lalaki. Marami na nga pong Pilipino ang naparangalan ng nasabing TOYM. Na nabanggit ko kanina sa loob ng 55 years ay nagbigay sila ng papuri sa piling Pilipino sa iba't ibang antas ng buhay at iba't ibang larangan ng society. Ang mga politiko, businessmen, kabataan, mga karaniwang, yan po ang mga karaniwang binibigyan ng kanilang pagkilala. Ilan po sa mga kilalang naparangal na ay sina Alan Peter Cayetano na ngayon po ay alam po natin na isang senador na ng ating republika at si Sherwin Gatchalian na mayor po ng Valenzuela City. At nandito na po inantabayanan po natin. Isa po sa mga kilalang awardee ngayong taon ay ang sikat na product endorser, celebrity at basketball player na si Chris Chu. Siya po ay binigyan ng parangal sa larangan po ng youth leadership at isa po rin, ilan po sa mga larangan na aking nabanggit kanina ay sa larangan ng social entrepreneurship, pagnenegosyo, science and technology, communication, food service at marami pa pong iba. At narito na po Palasyo, ang Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III na siya pong mangunguna sa pagbibigay ng pagkilala sa siyam na Outstanding Young Men of the Philippines. Kinikilala po sa kanilang natatanging kontribusyon sa ating bansa. Kaya panoorin po natin ang programa.
Please remain standing for the Philippine National Anthem, followed by the JCI Values, Prayer and Mission, to be led by Romel S. Herodias, Vice Chairman of the 2013 Search Committee.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisingil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong paghaw, may ilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang nilamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdidikit, ang bituin araw niya kailan pang may magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng warangit pagsinta, ay langit sa dilim mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mamapit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Fellow JCI members, let us declare the JCI values in unison and with conviction. We believe that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life, that the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nations, that economic justice can best be won by free men through free enterprise, that government should be of laws rather than of men, that Earth's great treasure lies in human personality, and that service to humanity is the best work of life. Our JCI mission, to provide development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change.
You now take your seats. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Francis Garcia Puyod.
And I am Jager Luim Tanco, and we are your MCs for today's ceremony. Through the years, the Junior Chamber International Philippines has undertaken the search for outstanding individuals all over the country, who by their exemplary work, passion and service to the community inspire others to give their all to a cause that they believe in. To start the ball rolling, may we call on Mr. Luciano Frederick Puyod III, the 2013 TOYM National Chairman, to deliver his opening remarks.
His Excellency President Benigno S. Aquino III, JCI Philippines President Ryan Ravanzo, TOYM Foundation President Bienvenido Tantoco, Jerry Rojas Foundation Chair, Ma'am Judy Rojas Araneta, Congressman Lenny Robredo, and our Board of Judges Chairman, Mr. Jose Pardo, the TOYM 2013 awardees, JCI members, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of Junior Chamber International Philippines, thank you for taking time to join us in the 55th year of the search for the outstanding young men. TOYM has distinguished itself as the most prestigious award for young Filipinos. TOYM is a legacy that today's JCI Philippines members must carry on in honor of its visionary pioneers. Our forefathers wanted to give recognition to individuals who have displayed leadership and the highest levels of excellence. Most importantly, they wanted to see individuals who could inspire. We know that inspiring a nation is not an easy task, but this year's TOYM awardees did this with a sense of generosity and selflessness. Even before they prepared their bid books for the TOYM, they were leading, and more importantly, living by example. As we journey on to build our nation with hope, trust, and perseverance, may these TOYM continue to be living examples of these values. May the traits which pave the road towards their TOYM award be manifested throughout their lifetime, so that the Filipino youth would always hold them in high esteem. I would like to thank those who made this year's search a success, our corporate sponsors, the TOYM Foundation, and the Junior Chamber International Philippines members for their full support and confidence. Special mention also goes to this year's energetic TOYM search team, the Board of Judges, and the Screening Committee, who have worked equally hard to make this year's search very meaningful. Today, we will present the Abueva Trophy to TOYM Class of 2013. May it be a constant reminder to you of one of the tenets of the JCI values, and I quote, that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life, unquote. It is symbolized by the clasped hand in prayer, and may that belief always prepare you for bigger challenges. Godspeed, JCI Philippines and TOYM 2013 awardees. Continue to inspire the nation and believe that service to humanity is the best work of life. Magandang hapon po.
To deliver the message from JCI Philippines, may we call on the 2013 National President, Mr. Ryan C. Ravanzo.
His Excellency, President Benigno S. Aquino III, to the TOYM Foundation President, Donnie Tantoco, to our Board of Judges Chairman, Jose Pardo, Congresswoman Lenny Robredo, our TOYM National Chairman, Dicky Puyod, honorable members of the Board of Judges and the Screening Panel and the Search Committee, past TOYM awardees, and our 2013 honorees, past and current members of the JCI Philippines National Board, my fellow JCI members, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, magandang hapon po. Hindi maipagkakaila na isa sa mga pinakamatingkad na bahagi ng mahigit na 65 taong kasaysayan ng JCI bilang isang pambansang samahan ay natutunghayan kadalasan tuwing buwan ng Disyembre, kung saan saksi ang buong bayan sa pagbibigay ng parangal sa mga natatanging Pilipino na kinikilala natin bilang the outstanding young men. Sa loob ng mahigit 5 dekada ng makabuluhan at tapat ng pagsasama ng TOYM Foundation, Jerry Rojas Foundation at ng JCI Philippines, madalas akong inuusisa ng kung ano nga ba ang pamantayan para matawag bilang isa sa mga the outstanding young men. Mayroong angking galing, di matatawarang kontribusyon sa piling propesyon o advokasya at pagmamahal sa gawain na nagsisilbing inspirasyon para maging ehemplo para sa mas maraming Pilipino. Ginoong Pangulo, mga kaibigan, simple lamang ang pamantayan, mahirap tularan. Hindi mahirap tularan. Ang aking ina, si Ginang Natividad Ravanzo. Pwede bang tumayo para makilala po siya? Si Ginang Natividad Ravanzo ay isang overseas foreign worker na kauuwi lamang nitong Biyernes, ang unang sumagi sa aking isip. Ako ay nasa grade 6 nang siya ay lumisan. Mahigit 25 taon na nagtrabaho sa ibang bansa para mapagtapos kaming 8 magkakapatid ng mag-isa at walang katuwang. Walang kapantay ang sakripisyo, walang kapantay ang kanyang sakripisyo, ang kanyang pinamalas, walang katumbas ang sipag at galing at pagmamahal sa trabaho. Siya ang aming inspirasyon. Araw-araw marami ang ganitong halimbawa at mga kwento na maaaring maging inspirasyon at maging pamantayan para pamarisan. Ang magagandang halimbawa ng mga pararangalan natin bilang the outstanding young men ngayong hapon ay sapat na magtutulak sa mas nakararaming Pilipino sa panahon ngayon na kumapit sa pag-asa at paniniwala na bawat isa sa atin ay may magagawa, may maitutulong, may pambihirang katangian na maipagmamalaki at maibabahagi sa ating. Ito ang natatanging kwento ng TOYM 2013. Isang karangalan para sa JCI Philippines, TOYM Foundation at Jerry Ross Foundation na ipagpatuloy muli ang kwento ng inspirasyon para sa bayan, ang ating pagkilala sa mga di matatawaran at pambihirang nagawa na mga awardees ng The Outstanding Young Men para sa taong 2013. Maraming salamat po.
This year's TOYM honorees have been chosen after several painstaking screening and judging sessions. Our distinguished screening panel and board of judges, all illustrious achievers in government and the private sector, convened for the selection process. May we call on the president of the TOYM Foundation, Mr. Bienvenido V. Tantoco III, to introduce the members of the screening panel and board of judges.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, it is with that I introduce to you the screening panel and the board of judges for this year's TOYM. The screening panel was led by Attorney Theodore Te. He is the Chief Public Information Officer of the Supreme Court of the Philippines. He also received a TOYM award for human rights and legal aid in 2002. The screening panel also included Mr. Dennis Mendiola, who was the TOYM honoree for business leadership in 2007, Dr. Maria Corazon Ungria, who is the TOYM honoree for science and technology in 2005, Mr. Jose Roberto Alampay, a TOYM honoree for democracy and human rights in 2009, Mr. Ed Garcia, the 2011 TOYM honoree for business entrepreneurship, and finally, Ms. Therese Badoy, who was the 2010 TOYM honoree for alternative education and youth leadership. Our board of judges was led by Mr. Jose Pardo. He has been the chairman of the Philippine Stock Exchange since 2011. He was secretary of the Department of Finance in 2000 and the Secretary of Trade and Industry in 1998. The board of judges also includes Mr. Ryan Cayabyab, who is one of our country's most prominent and prolific musicians. He is currently the executive director for Philpop Music Fest Foundation. He received a TOYM award for contemporary Filipino music in 1978. We are also fortunate to have Mr. Benjamin Diokno, who is currently an economics professor at the University of the Philippines. He's also a columnist for Business World. He served our government at one point in time as the Secretary of Budget and Management. The board also includes Mario Victor Leonen, who's an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. He is also a professional lecturer of Philippine indigenous law at the University of the Philippines. We are also to have as one of our judges, one of the most successful business leaders in the country. He is none other than Napoleon Nazareno, who is the President and CEO of PLDT and Smart Communications. Please also recognize Father Anton Pascual, who is the Executive Director of Caritas Manila and also the President of Radio Veritas. Last but not least, we are honored to have on board Honorable Lenny Herona Robredo, who is the representative of the 3rd Congressional District of Camarines Sur. The screening panel and board of judges consist of men and women who are leaders. They are very prominent in their respective fields. More importantly, they are one of the very few left that achieve their success the honest and the noble way. They have done very well by doing good. Because of the convictions that they stand for, we entrusted to them this task of selecting our TOYM. We thank them very, very much for their help. Maraming salamat po.
The past 54 years have gathered a total of only 425 individuals out of more than 100 million Filipinos who carry this distinction of being called a TOYM awardee. We are proud to present this year's 9 honorees who will join the elite roster of TOYM winners. We would like to invite Mr. Jose Pardo, chairperson of this year's Board of Judges, to present the outstanding individuals who have made their extraordinary mark in their chosen fields of endeavor.
Mr. President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my privilege to introduce to you the awardees for this year, but beforehand, let me just say that through the years, the roster of young men includes our country's best. These are the finest artists, academicians, scientists, community workers, and entrepreneurs, among other outstanding Filipinos who teach, inspire, and serve as beacons of light, illuminating our path to progress and development. Our search for this year's awardees have not been an easy task, and following the standards of excellence that TOYM requires. We were looking for the men and women who uphold the JCI's creed, service to humanity is the best work in life, which means that their achievements should have benefited the community and the nation significantly. They must surpass ordinary standards, conquering challenges and inspiring people by their outstanding leadership and deeds. Of the 59 nominees, 17 became finalists and only 9 were finally chosen as the awardees. The awardees have proven themselves worthy of the honor by passing the following criteria. Service to the community and our nation, 40 points were given. Professional excellence and integrity in their field of endeavor, another 40 points. Leadership, including moral rectitude, innovativeness, and pioneering spirit, the remaining 20 points. Today, we celebrate their achievements. These are the outstanding young men and women whose selfless dedication to their profession or vocation has resulted in significant contributions to the welfare of their countrymen, as well as the advancement of their fields of endeavor. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you, in alphabetical order, the outstanding young men. As I call your name, kindly stand up to be recognized. I start with Emerson Atanasio. He has been in the field of social entrepreneurship. Emer is known for institutionalizing manufacturing and production technology in education. He introduced the Learn, Earn, and Achieve program, or LEAP for short, using TESDA's dual training system modality where industry-specific instructions matched the requirements of industry partners. This program currently has 20 multinational industry sectors and 38 LGU partnerships established. Next is June Cheryl Cabal Revilla for community service. When Shai and her friends decided to give back to the community, they called it Gabay Guro. Gabay Guro is a joint program of the PLDT Smart Foundation and PLDT Managers Club Incorporated, which aims at furthering education for nation building by supporting the overall development of teachers in the country. She worked hard by Guro to be able to give scholarships to 700 aspiring teachers and conduct training that have benefited over 40,000 teachers. Next is Nicole Paola Curato for sociology. Nicole Curato holds a unique track record of successfully combining teaching, scholarly research, and public engagement at the age of 30. As a young Filipino public intellectual, Nicole conveys the most inspiring voice of her generation. She promotes democratic literacy through initiatives such as UP's Fact Check project in the last elections, as well as her illuminating pieces, including those on political dynasties and the ethics of citizenship in a post-Haiyan world. Her style of commentary is responsible, evidence-based, and nuanced, the type of voice necessary in today's conversation. Next is Caster Jocaris for science communication. This DOST Balik scientist, Dr. Caster Jocaris, is the host producer of the nationwide science radio program Pinoy Scientist and science journalist for Herald News. Jocaris is a distinguished neuroscientist and biogerontologist and a professor of astrobiology. He is the president of NeuroWorks, a computational neuroscience-based strategic consulting company, and founder of Luntiang Lunes, the local chapter of Meatless Monday. He started the Philippine Space Agency campaign in 2012. Next is Miguel Renee Dominguez for Government and Public Service. Known as Sarangani, he almost single-handedly put Sarangani on the national map as an investment and tourism destination by rallying residents, involving the participation of the indigenous people in local governance, and engaging armed combatants of moral rebels in peace dialogues. As an education reformer, Dominguez mentored and engaged Sarangani communities to rally with him in revolutionizing Sarangani education. He's a Galing Puok Hall of Fame awardee and the first recipient of the Jesse Robredo Leadership Award. Next is Alonso Gabriel for Food Science and Technology. Al is an associate professor and university scientist at UP Diliman, a food science and technology educator, researcher and community extension worker, public servant. By waiving patents and proprietary rights to his research findings, Dr. Gabriel's works become readily available for use in the industry, particularly by the micro and small-scale entrepreneurs that have limited R&D capabilities. Next is Carl Michael Reyes for medicine. Dr. Reyes helped establish the first private center for congenital heart disease in the country at St. Luke's Medical Center. He leads the Gift of Life International program in the Philippines. Gift of Life is an international organization that provides treatment for patients with congenital heart disease through the development of locally based programs and also by conducting international training missions. Dr. Reyes also established the Operation Heart Foundation that helps patients by coordinating medical and surgical treatment as well as placing donor funding for each patient. Next is Paolo Antonio Silva, also for medicine. Dr. Silva leads the efforts of the Jocelyn Vision Network, an innovative telemedicine enabling technology developed at BTAM, Eye Institute of the Jocelyn Diabetes Center, Harvard Medical School, which is incorporated in a multidisciplinary approach through a comprehensive diabetes management program. He led the establishment of the first teleophthalmology program for diabetic retinal disease in the Philippines at the Medical City and is currently the co-director of the program. This program has now provided care and prevented visual loss in hundreds of Filipinos. Next is Christopher John Alandi D. Chu, Chris Chu, for Youth Leadership Development. Chris is a professional basketball player, an entrepreneur, TV host, product endorser, and a civil servant. He's a former SK chairman and presently a barangay kagawad in Barangay Urdaneta, Makati City. He channeled his celebrity status to help form values of today's Filipino youth, championing timeless values like hard work, modesty, honesty, perseverance, and sacrifice through face-to-face interaction, sports, media, and social media. He is an ambassador and advocate of various causes like Caritas, Habitat for Humanity, World Vision, Filipinas, Eco Warriors. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request all of you to join me in applauding the outstanding young men for 2013. Congratulations to all our awardees. Thank you.
As we reach the highlight of this afternoon's affair, may we call on His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III to formally confer to our distinguished honorees their individual trophies and medals. May we also request all the dignitaries accompanying the President on stage to assist in the awarding of the trophies and the medals.
Please welcome our honorees to receive their awards. May we call on Emerson B. Atanasio, Social Entrepreneurship.
June Cheryl Cabal Revilla, Community Service.
Nicole Paula C. Curato, Sociology.
Custer C. De Ocares, Science Communication.
Miguel Renee A. Dominguez, Government and Public Service.
Alonzo A. Gabriel, Food Science and Technology.
Carl Michael G. Reyes, Medicine.
Paolo Antonio S. Silva.
Christopher John Alandi D. Chu, Youth Leadership Development.
To give the acceptance speech on behalf of the honorees, may we call on Christopher John Alandi D. Tew.
His Excellency President Benigno Simeon C. Aquino III, Benvenido V. Tantoco III, President of the TOYM Foundation, Mrs. Judy Rojas, Chairperson of the Jerry Rojas Foundation, Jose T. Pardo, Chairman of the TOYM 2013 Board of Judges, Ryan, National President of JCI Philippines, Congresswoman Lenny Robredo, Board of Judges, Dicky Puyod, Chairman of the TOYM 2013 Search, to my fellow TOYM 2013 honorees, to our families, special guests, good afternoon to you all. In behalf of this year's awardees, I want to express our utmost appreciation for citing us among the greatest individuals in the 54-year history of the TOYM Foundation. We feel unworthy to be standing amidst such distinguished and admirable individuals when there are many other young Filipinos out there who have so selflessly dedicated their lives for the betterment of our dear country. And for this, we feel truly humbled and blessed. Our world is changing. Because of global warming, we are experiencing typhoons on an unprecedented scale. We can now do virtually anything on the go, from reading the paper to watching movies to booking an airline ticket. We often hear the phrase, "Iba na ang kabataan ngayon." Now, if you're guilty of saying those words before, malamang hindi ka nakasama sa kabataan. The youth have resources at their fingertips and are a creative, capable, and intelligent generation. On the other hand, this may mean na iba na rin ang value system nila. We accept as reality many things which would have been considered scandalous to older generations. Because of modern-day technology, we hardly have to wait for anything anymore. And therefore, there's less need to be patient and persevering. Consumer behavior is changing. The youth have become more fashion-forward and embarrassed to repeat an outfit because your entire social network can see what you're wearing with the advent of smartphones. Measuring of one's self-worth has evolved to the number of friends, followers, or likes that one has on one's social media sites, thus encouraging the user to keep up by posting more photos of himself, who he associates with, what he buys, or where he eats. In fact, selfie has been named the word of the year by Oxford Dictionary. Selfie, as defined by Wikipedia, is a self-portrait photography usually taken by a camera or a camera phone. In an article earlier this year, Time magazine has noted some negative traits of today's youth, such as lazy, narcissistic, materialistic, feeling of entitlement, and less concerned with community. Now, this is a cause for concern because these so-called millennials will be our future leaders. This is why, in its 54-year history, the TOYM Foundation, with its theme of inspiring a nation of heroes, plays an even more important role today. By using modern-day tools, it can reach out to our youth and propagate its core values of excellence, integrity, and most importantly, a deep sense of service to community. Despite the many changes we have witnessed throughout the decades, from climate change, technology, buying habits, to our attitudes and behavior, there are some things that remain and should remain constant. And these are the timeless values the TOYM Foundation espouses, such as excellence, honesty, humility, simplicity, and charity, just to name a few. Regardless of age, gender, social class, race, or religion, these principles serve as guiding pillars for human conduct that are proven to have enduring and permanent value. In order for our country to progress, we cannot accept the pwede na attitude. Pursuing excellence cannot be learned overnight. It involves a process and tremendous commitment. And once it develops into a habit, it becomes a lifestyle, and this is what we call virtue. The foundation of heroism in the Ignatian spirituality is magis, which means more, being more, and doing more. However, this simple motto requires a higher spirit for it to attain its fullness, which means that our motivation must transcend our own causes for a greater, higher being. One of the world's greatest leaders, the late Nelson Mandela, constantly reminded his people that we should always be patient, even if things are going bad, because great things will happen. He also said that what matters is the small acts of kindness towards others. And these words are very appropriate for our modern world, where selfies are the in thing, and everything has become so convenient that we need not bother to go out of our way for the good of others. But we too have Mandelas in our midst. Emerson Atanasio in social entrepreneurship, Dr. Nicole Curato for sociology, Dr. Custer Deocaris in science communications, former Governor Miguel Dominguez in Government and Public Service, Dr. Alonzo Gabriel for Food Science and Technology, June Cabarrevilla for Community Development, Drs. Carl Reyes and Paolo Silva in the field of medicine. There's no question that the youth are constantly looking for role models, people they can emulate. Mainstream media and Hollywood do not often provide us with the best models. We know that. On the other hand, the most powerful influencers are those who are real, those we can interact with in our everyday lives, those who are one of us. Whenever we meet people who inspire us, we feel a sense of relief that there's hope for our future. And even more, a force of motivation giving us that second, third, and fourth wind to do more ourselves. Most of the time, our heroes don't even know the magnitude of the impact they have on others. They just do what they do best in their respective fields with utmost excellence, integrity, and service to community. Hence, I would like to thank our dearest family and friends who have served as our personal heroes. Your example and your faith in us inspire us to serve. And most importantly, we would like to thank our Lord for this blessing. To God be all the glory, and we are merely His instruments. Last Sunday, the priest gave a beautiful homily about real joy. He said, "Joy is not in receiving, but rather it is when we give that we receive." We are immensely honored to be given the TOYM distinction, and we are even more inspired to continue giving by living a life of virtue, discipline, and other-centeredness. It will take courage to relay this message in today's world, but like Mandela and St. Ignatius, we need to go against the wind. This year's theme is inspiring a nation of heroes, but heroes need heroes too, and heroism starts within each one of us. Thank you.
To introduce our guest of honor, may we call on the chairperson of the Jerry Rojas Foundation, Mrs. Judy A. Rojas.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency, President Benigno Simeon Aquino III.
Maraming salamat po. Maupo tayo lahat. Medyo mahirap po sumunod tapos kay Tita Judy. Christo is very articulate, and I think he casts a more dashing figure than I by a little degree. Tita Judy naman has such a very splendid voice. Anyway, I will try my best. Tita Judy, Mr. Ryan Rabanzo, Tito Titoy, Representative Lenny Robredo, Mr. Bienvenido Tantoco III, Mr. Luciano Frederick Puyot III, awardees of the 2013 the Outstanding Young Men Awards, Board of Judges and Search and Working Committee of the Outstanding Young Men, officials and staff of the Outstanding Young Men Foundation Incorporated and the Junior Chamber International Philippines, fellow workers of government, honored guests, mga minamahal ko mga kababayan, magandang hapon po muli. Mamaya nga, pagkatapos po nito, tatawag ako sa Secretary Abad. Sasabihin ko, para alam ko na kung bakit di ka na-nominate sa TOYM. Matagal ka na nag-graduate sa 40, yung pala upper limit. At sa ating po honoree na nagsastudy ng neurogerontology, kami po ni Secretary Abad, siya siguro magiging pasyente nyo. Ako po, I intend to stay at least young at heart for the foreseeable future. This is the fourth time I have led the awarding of the Outstanding Young Men. This year's group of awardees brings the total to 33 men and women. Excuse me. I'm going to Tacloban, I think, on Sunday. I guess that's why I'm coughing. Anyway, the total to 33 men and women I've had the pleasure of personally congratulating for their work. And given the presence of female awardees past and present, perhaps it might be time to consider, as my writer suggests, a gender or a more gender-friendly name change. No. Although I also sincerely believe that, yes, I'm sure all of you have seen the banners proclaiming end violence against women. Okay. I think in about 10 years' time, it will be end violence against men. But kidding aside, it is particularly fitting this year that we honored TOYM awardees right in the middle of the holiday season, a time in which we can look back on the past year and give thanks for our blessings. With the holidays also comes the opening of a new chapter, with all the optimism and opportunities that a fresh start carries. So these awards are a perfect symbol of the season and also a reminder of the things that must remain constant in our lives, namely service and hope. Service is not an area I need to speak about in great detail, especially to an audience like this one. After all, U9 made a very conscious decision to work for the benefit of others. You know how challenging, how difficult, and how rewarding it can be. And by virtue of your different professions, you know full well that there is no single true path of service. There is only the discernment of a calling and the corresponding commitment to make the most of your God-given talents. Because this is exactly what you have chosen to do. You are no longer just individuals who happen to excel in your specific fields. With this distinction, you are role models not only for the communities you have immediate contact with, but also and more importantly for a nation of millions. Our countrymen see in your example the fruits of hard work, excellence, and you are the hope that inspires them to pursue their own dreams and hopefully in so doing to touch the lives of others. This is particularly important now at a time when normalcy and hope are beginning to return to areas affected by Typhoon Yolanda, made possible by the dedication of the people who have come to their aid, including our friends from other shores and especially our countrymen. This is not another thing to be thankful for. Filipinos never stand idly by and let others suffer alone, because compassion and the utmost generosity are intrinsic to our people. We saw this in our fellow citizens who flocked to repacking centers day and night, and in students and employees who donated their allowance and salaries to relief efforts. We saw this in the private sector and civic groups who organized their own relief drives. We see this even today in men and women like you who care about fostering change that uplifts their fellow men. There is, of course, Emer Tarasio, who embodies our belief that education and training should be attuned to the needs of industry so that our countrymen can make the most of existing opportunities in earning livelihoods. There are those who have helped to raise the level of public discourse in the person of Nicole Curato, who I hope will be a different kind of academic, one who does not lose her audience in a forest of jargon, but instead uses her knowledge in the social sciences to add to the political education of the youth, thus spurring positive engagement instead of breeding cynicism and apathy. After all, we have seen how it is possible to make science more accessible to the wider public through the example of Castor de Ocaris, who brings his passion for science to life in a number of ways. From entrepreneurship to a radio program, his efforts go hand in hand with our government's determination to build science literacy, and in so doing, drive learning, research, and development, which are essential to our being a truly modern and competitive nation. Al Gabriel has also given generously of his talents, sharing his innovations and research in food science and technology with micro and small-scale enterprises. The kind of technology and knowledge transfer that benefits not only our promising food processing industry, but also helps grow other sectors and consequently the wider economy. Former Governor of Sarangani, Miguel Dominguez, promoted the economic growth of his province and also worked to engage indigenous peoples in the process of governance, as well as armed combatants through peaceful dialogue. During his terms, Governor Dominguez employed the same principles that our government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front have adhered to in forging a just and lasting peace in Mindanao. And this peace is indeed in sight, especially with the recent signing of the Annex on Power Sharing. We have Chris Chu, who went to the same school I did. I think we were separated by about 4 years or so. That's why he didn't see me in campus. Whether through the Sangguniang Kabataan or his position as a barangay kagawad, his business and media engagements or his achievements on the court, he has consistently displayed leadership, modesty, and discipline. In this way, he has already found success, not just as a media personality or athlete, but also as a role model and inspiration for the Filipino youth today and in the years to come. We also have a number of awardees who know how important it is to empower others by fulfilling their basic needs, in this case, health and education. We have Drs. Reyes and Paolo Silva who have gone above and beyond their oath to help others. Dr. Reyes, for example, was instrumental in opening the first Center for Congenital Heart Disease at St. Luke's Medical Center and the Operation Heart Foundation, Incorporated. He is also known for coordinating with patients and hospitals for consultation and treatment, as well as for donor funding for each patient. On the other hand, Dr. Silva has put his expertise to good use in establishing the first telemedicine program for diabetic eye disease in the Philippines and in guiding the use of cutting-edge treatments for retinal diseases, reducing the cost of treatment by over 20-fold and making it more readily available to patients. In that example, we see how innovation is not only a tool that facilitates advancements in medicine, but also one that allows us to fulfill our basic obligation to help others. Last but most certainly not the least, there is also the founder of Gabay Guru, Chaye Cabal Revilla. With Gabay Guru's motto, I quote, "changing the lives of those who changed ours," close quote, Chaye has dedicated to providing continued support for our educators, whether through further education and training or by simply paying tribute to the men and women who guided us in and out of the classroom, thus providing positive reinforcement to what is admittedly a very difficult job. Might I emphasize, these are only some of our awardees' myriad achievements. They may all be working in different fields, but one thing ties them together, a commitment to knowledge and excellence as tools of empowerment. So allow me to say, as I have said before, that events like this are a source of hope and comfort to me. Many people have asked me what will happen to the country when I step down from the presidency, as if to imply that I am the only one putting in long days and nights for this country. Events like this remind all of us that there will never be a shortage of Filipinos who are willing to take on the task of nation building, that in fact there are so many of us who are working to uplift and empower our fellow men. This is the very principle of bayanihan, of everyone doing his part for a common purpose, a belief which all of you exemplify every day. As you tread your own down matuid in your professional lives, this is the very principle of the Outstanding Young Men Awards. So at these events, when I meet people who are as committed to helping others as you are, I know I am looking at those men and women who are working alongside us in building the future of this country, a future characterized by solidarity and genuine, meaningful progress, a future where no one definitely will be left behind. Again, my congratulations to all of you. Thank you. Good day.
At this point, may we invite His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III and the dignitaries at the stage for a photo with the honorees. May we also request the 2013 TOYM honorees to please proceed to the stage for a photo.
Yan po ang naging talumpati ng Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III sa okasyong ito ng awarding ceremony ng The Outstanding Young Men of the Philippines 2013 na kasalukuyan pong ginaganap sa Palasyo ng Malacañang. Ang special coverage namin sa TOYM awarding ceremony. Napapanood niyo po kami live also via streaming sa www.rtvm.gov.ph at kasalukuyan nga po kasama ng Pangulo ang 9 na awardees ngayon taon. 2 po sa kanila ay mga babae at iba't ibang larangan po ang kanilang inexcellan. Sa iba po ay sa public service, ang iba ay science and technology, communications, education at marami pa pong ibang field of expertise. Kinilala po ng Pangulong Aquino sa kanyang talumpati ang kahusayan ng mga awardees para sa taong ito. At sabi nga niya, sila ay dapat magsilbi di lamang bilang awardees na kinilala sa kanilang serbisyo at kagalingan, kundi bilang maging role models ng bawat Pilipino. Sila umano ay inspirasyon sa kapwa Pinoy para maabot ang kanilang mga pangarap at mithiin sa buhay. Ito ayon sa Pangulo ay mahalaga sa ngayon matapos maranasan ng ating bansa ang hagupit ng bagyong Yolanda. Kinakailangan umano ng nating mga Pilipino ang mga idolo na magbibigay pag-asa sa atin na merong magandang hinaharap at maaaring makamit ang mga mithiin kahit na merong mga balakid. Ayon pa rin sa Pangulo, ang mga okasyon na tulad nito, ang pagbibigay ng awarding sa mga natatanging Pilipino ay sinasabi niya ito ay nagbibigay sa kanya ng kapanatagang loob sa kanyang pagbaba sa pwesto sa pagkapangulo sa 2016 ay iiwan niya ang ating bansa sa mga mabuting kamay, mga kamay na aalalay sa bawat Pilipino tungo sa isang mas maayos at magandang hinaharap ng bansang Pilipinas. So yan po ang nakikita niyo po ngayon ang mga awardees ng The Outstanding Young Men of the Philippines 2013. 55 taon na po ang awarding ceremony. 55 taon na po ang kinikilala ng JCI ang mga natatanging Pilipino na nag-excel sa kanilang mga larangan. At karaniwan po na isa sa mga common na criterion na pinagpipilian ay public service. At ito pong nakikita natin na mga awardees ngayong taon ay mga nagsilbi po bilang mapabuti ang buhay hindi lamang po ng kanilang mga sarili kundi ang buhay ng kanilang kapwa at maging mapabuti rin ang hinaharap ng ating bansa.
This afternoon ceremony. Thank you once again for being here to witness the awarding of the...
Ito po ang live video na nakikita nyo na nagmumula po sa loob ng palasyo ng Malacañang, ang pagbibigay po ng pagkilala sa Outstanding Young Men 2013 at ang tema nga po ng awarding ceremony ngayong taon, Inspiring Filipinos to be Heroes, Inspiring a Nation of Heroes. At ayon rin nga po sa ating Pangulo, kung ganito po ang makikitang mga idolo o role model ng ating mga kababayan ay magiging panatag siya na iiwan niya ang ating bansa sa mas mga mabuting kamay sa kanyang pagbaba po sa pwesto sa 20. At dito po nagtatapos ang aming special coverage ng The Outstanding Young Men. Nais po naming pasalamatan ng RTVM, PTV, IBC 13 at Radyo ng Bayan. At yan po ang ating naging coverage po ngayong araw na ito mula dito sa Palasyo ng Malacañang. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtunghay sa aming special coverage. Isang magandang hapon po, Pilipinas.